I'm here with actress Cherie Jimenez, who plays Gabby on Days of Our Lives. Gabby always getting into something.
Yeah. Always, always, always.
It's so funny. She's kind of a troublemaker, and you're just like the sweetest thing.
I know that's actually what a lot of people told me at the fan event. They were like, "You are so different from the way you play Gabby." I was like, "Yes, yes, I am. I am."
Yeah. The fan event she's speaking about was thrown in New Jersey at Starstruck, and it was
Mhm.
really wonderful to see the fans embrace you and really pay homage to what you're doing with the character. After when you first joined, there was a little bit of, when you come in as a recast, it's not the easiest thing in the world to
No.
handle. And so it was nice to see that. What was your reaction just from even joining the show and seeing this backlash as if it was?
Yeah, of course, of course. I mean, now it's been some time and I'm in a really beautiful place with all of it. So I'm really grateful for that. But joining the show, first of all, it's Days of Our Lives. This is iconic. What a blessing. What a dream role. I love Gabby. I love playing Gabby. I consider Gabby a dream role. So I'm just incredibly grateful to be Gabby. Now, to be a recast, it's definitely hard. I was warned prior. I know that throughout the soap world, there are many recasts, and a lot of people on the show have been recast on Days. But you can be warned only so much, and then once you're experiencing it, what it feels like is definitely not the easiest to go through. But I've gone through it, and I've come out on the other side in a really beautiful place, like I said. And so the fan event for me, this was the first, other than Day of Days, of course, which Peacock and Days throws, which was absolutely incredible. But this was me choosing to go to a fan event out of the state and putting myself in that situation. And at first, Keith and Paul, when they approached me about the Starstruck event, I was like, I don't know if I'm ready yet. I was very resistant to putting myself out in that situation, but I'm so happy I said yes. Everyone was so lovely, so wonderful. A lot of people really let me know how much they loved my interpretation, and people also let me know that they were resistant to me at first. So there was a lot of people that were very honest about how they felt about me coming in and how differently I played it than the last Gabby. But overall, I think getting to know me and my personality as well really helped people kind of see a different side of me, which was also
Yeah.
wonderful. Because like a lot of the comments I got was, wow, you're really sweet, you're really down to earth, you are nothing like the Gabby you play, why do you play her so mean? And it's so funny because I never watched any of Camila's stuff, so I'm not really quite sure what the Gabby was that she portrayed. All I know is when I go on set and the producers, directors give me notes on how they want me to kind of just go forward in a scene, and a lot of it is really to give her just this like mean, like very just they always remind me, Gabby will kill somebody, Gabby will cut somebody, Gabby does not F around, so make sure you keep that in there. And so I give it my all and I do my thing and I love it. And so it's nice to have people be like, oh, you're not that, and I'm like, thank you, that means I'm doing a great job.
You know what I love hearing about that story is that does just personify how different you are from Gabby. For people to feel comfortable enough to say
Yeah,
something like that to you, like, "Oh, we hated you at first, or we weren't so
of
sure at
course.
first,"
Yeah.
and that would like that just shows how at ease you put people, and that's a big deal, I think, for the fans especially.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm just so grateful to even be in this position and to have fans and people that appreciate my work and are tuning in and really enjoying it. And so it just fills my heart with so much love and it keeps me going too. And it's also just exciting. I love when people reach out to me, and I try and do my best to reach out to everyone individually,
Yeah.
make it really personal so that they understand how much in gratitude I am over this. So
When you
yeah, it
when you
was a
booked the
really.
role, did you said you didn't watch previous scenes, which is
Mhm.
probably good to go in and throw
Mhm.
uh your own flavor and taste into it because they didn't hire a Camilla double. They hired you for your own
Yeah.
talent and stuff. So what was that like trying to take an established character and make her your own?
Yeah, well, I mean, at the beginning, I didn't know that it was Gabby, and I've said this before, I didn't know that it was Gabby that I was auditioning for.
Mm.
So I thought, having auditioned for this 15 years prior, I knew that Camila was Gabby, and so I thought that it was to be her sister, to be a family member. So I was just given a very general outline of this, just fiery, confident woman, Latin. And so it's funny because I am Latin and she's Latin, but I'm a different kind of Latin. She's Cuban, I'm Puerto Rican and Dominican, not saying that we're both not Latina women, but I'm a very, I guess, from what people say, I'm a very reserved Latina. I'm not very like loud and out there and just as, just like very I'm very reserved. I'm very this. So I feel like coming into this role, something that I have done personally is I have changed the narrative of what a Latina is on television because so many women that have portrayed them on television have a certain way about them. And so I think people assume that that's just the way that a Latina is supposed to be versus, I grew up with a very heavily influenced Latin culture. Spanish is my first language. It's just who I am. And I'm very proud of that. And so to be on a show and to be portraying a Latin character, but a real human for
Mhm.
me is first and foremost. And so I just wanted to be authentic and truthful in just my interpretation into who I thought this character was, along with Marnie, the casting director, who
Right.
gave me little tidbits of what she wanted from this character, of what she wanted me to bring to it, as well as the fact that the writers and the directors were going in a different direction with Gabby. And so they wanted to kind of change certain things about her. And so for me coming into this, it was beautiful because I was given the freedom to just be and whatever I gave. And, over time, I've watched myself. I've gotten more comfortable. I mean, now I'm just, now I'm Gabby. I don't even
How
think
it's
twice. But
yeah.
at the beginning, getting comfortable in this role, especially once I found out it was a recast, there was a shock.
Mm.
There was an excitement, and then also too realizing that it was Gabby, the role that got away when I was 22.
Right.
Now coming back at 35 was just wild to me, and so I just knew that no matter what, I wanted to give it up, that I wanted to give it my all. I wanted to do my best. And if it was meant for me, beautiful. And if it wasn't, that's okay. The universe was still telling me that something amazing was going to happen. So stepping into it has been a blessing, has been amazing, has been a roller coaster. What a world the soap world is. I have so much respect for every single soap. I'm like, yay to, I mean, even Beyond the Gates being picked up for a second season. I'm so
Yeah.
happy. That is such a beautiful thing for all of us because the genre is so important and I don't feel like it's been given as much attention as it really deserves. And so I think that Beyond the Gates being where it is right now, just really opening everyone's eyes and being like, oh yeah, we've got Days of Our Lives, we've got Bold and the Beautiful, and just the hard work that we put in, first of all,
Yeah.
like the amount of dialogue that we memorize, one rehearsal, one take, the hours. But it's just so amazing. And so for me, like I said, the only thing I did look at from Camila's was her relationship with Stefan because I knew coming into it that that was really important and their chemistry was hot. Like I will just start right there. They had a fiery, passionate chemistry. And so, me coming in, Stefan, Brandon and I had our own chemistry and I'm going to be the first to be like, was it as hot as theirs? No, they just had something that I don't know if it's because they built it over time and they had time in with these characters and themselves to be so comfortable and to be so free. Mind you, I was coming into this world. I had never kissed anybody on screen other than when I was like 13, my first kiss in a student film. So I was definitely in a very interesting situation of romance and just all of this. And I was like, how do I do this? And now I'm a pro. I don't even think twice. But it definitely was a transition. But the the producers, the directors, Noel, Janet, everyone has given me the space and time to really grow within this character and the freedom to just give my interpretation along while guiding me. And so that's been beautiful. And so for that, I'm incredibly grateful to all of them as well. And the writers. The writers have been so great.
At what point did you feel that you had made the role your own?
That's so funny. I'd say that I definitely started making the role my own and where I started to feel like, okay,
Most comfortable? Yeah.
I can move, I can start to move forward. It would probably be around the time, like somewhere between the time that uh, Javi got there
Hmm.
and like JJ came into Gabby's orbit. Because prior to that, mind you, we shoot so far ahead. It was me just really for the first 3 months learning how to exist within this world, within this character, gain my confidence back as a woman because I was also in postpartum. I had just had a baby and I was thrown into this character that was just so herself, fully herself in confidence. And I myself wasn't really feeling very confident when I first booked it. I'm just going to be honest. I was just going through a big transition in myself as a woman, as a mother, and coming into this role. And so, I started to really work on not only my body, my health, just like a bunch of things. Also the transition of the makeup, of like, well, the wardrobe has always been great, but like my body feeling confident and filling the dresses out. And so I always felt like it was just not me, like. And so coming in, and not me is meaning that like I would come in and sometimes I'd be like, I think it's a little too much makeup, but they'd be like, no, this is just what they want. And I'd be like, oh, okay. And so I never really felt really present and full and just like, okay. And so once Kavi came in and once JJ came into my life, I finally felt comfortable enough to be able to like really have an honest conversation with my makeup artist about just how I was feeling about everything. And then also everything started airing. So I started getting feedback from the fans, not so positive, and some of them were incredibly hurtful. And I was like, wow, this is really mean. And some of them were also like insightful of like, I agree. And so it gave me the confidence to
Yeah,
be able to have these honest conversations. And in turn, everything started going in a different direction. And so I started to feel more confident and more comfortable. And also, too, once JJ came in, it allowed for me to start a new relationship, even though I know it was an existing one, where I was able to grow in a relationship and feel more like, okay, this is something that I have for myself versus something that I'm coming into that I have to almost replicate
yeah.
the intensity and passion that Stefan and Gabby had that I just don't have that yet. And so, I'd say around that point, and then from there on, it just kind of started moving in just a beautiful direction. And now, I mean, I've been there for over a year. I re-signed another year contract in December, and every time I come in, it's just like, and I put the makeup on and the hair and everything. I'm just like, okay, here we go, and I just love it. So now I am Gabby without question.
Hey, that's a real testament to your strength. And I know that is one of the characteristics of Latina women is your strength and your fortitude. And so that's a big deal to overcome postpartum depression as you're getting thrown on to a massive television show. You weren't thrown on a
Yes.
stage in high school where 100 people are going to see you. You're like, with
No.
the lights, camera, action, all that.
No, and it's crazy too because before I had a baby, I was always ready. I was always like fit in my hair and everything, and my hair was always and everything was just perfect and always ready for the opportunity to come into my life so that I was just ready and it just wasn't meant to be. And so for it to come into my life right after I have a baby in the midst of postpartum where I'm like really going through a lot of changes emotionally in my body and everything and mental health wise was such an interesting thing for me because I had to really sit down with myself and just give myself and like be really kind to myself and give myself grace throughout this. And also the fact that the producers and Ken and everybody was like, you take all the time you need, this role is yours. And so we're going to be right here with you as you transition into this. And so that really will always be just something that I hold so dear and just so much gratitude and why I love going to work every day, but like I have so much respect because they showed me so much respect as well. And so, yeah, thank you. Thank
That's
you.
amazing. And also, we are in the middle of Mental Health Awareness Month, and
Mm,
to show the support that you received, that's a nice message to hear for people who are really struggling when they feel like they're not supported or they feel like someone won't support them if they open
yes.
up to them. So what a
Yeah.
beautiful thing that you did and that they did in return,
Yeah.
being on the show.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
What's one of your favorite things about playing Gabby? And then we're going to get into next week's story beats.
Everything. Okay. So first, I love the wardrobe. I'm like, well, aside from this, I grew up a really big tomboy. So I never really wore dresses growing up. And my mom was always trying to get me in a dress. And I'd always wear like, I was just a tomboy. I had like a different way of being.
Mhm.
Coming into Gabby's, and I'm going to go through different points and then we can move on.
Yeah.
Coming into Gabby as a woman and just her fashion sense has not only opened up my own world and my own fashion sense, Cherie, as I am, because it's allowed for me to be more bold and try new things and buy pinks and buy colors. I always wear black, white, and gray, which is funny, which I still do, but I am definitely loving Gabby's wardrobe always. That's number one. I love Gabby's dynamic with all the different characters that she has. I love that she doesn't give a I'm not going to curse, but she doesn't give an F about how other people perceive her. She is who she is authentically, and she doesn't apologize for it. Now, do I agree with a lot of her actions? No, of course not. Like sometimes I'll like see a script, or like I'll get a scene, or like I'll say something and I go, oh Gabby. But I also don't judge Gabby. I stay out of Gabby's way, and I know that no matter what, Gabby's decisions are all for a bigger reason. And what I've learned since I've played Gabby, because I don't know about Gabby prior to me. I mean, of course, I've done the deep dive into her history so that I understood what I was coming into. That I did do before coming into this character, as they have a Wikipedia, and it is pages and pages and pages long.
Offensively.
At one point I had to stop halfway and I was like, oh my God, she's been through hell.
I,
And no wonder Gabby is where she is now. Gabby didn't start off this way. And as people know in life, sometimes things happen to us and they change who we are and they change our perspective. And we've all done things that we're not proud of, and at the end of the day, like, that's just the human in us. And so what's really beautiful about stepping into Gabby's shoes is that I get to live this whole other life as this character, and I find different reasons to not only admire Gabby, but also have respect for her, because at the end of the day, she has a lot of tenacity and she doesn't back down. And so I really love that about her, because I'm like, okay, I may not agree with everything she does, but at the same time, it's like there's a bigger reason behind all of this. And I know that one of the big driving forces for me since I've been Gabby is her family, her brother. Like I've been walking, or Gabby's been walking around pissed off lately. And there was a spoiler recently that was like, Gabby loses her cool. And I tweeted and I was like, when does Gabby not lose her cool? Right. but it's funny because like people are like, Gabby's so mean. They'll like tweet me, why is Gabby so angry? And I was like, look at the
I,
situations that are happening right now. Her
I know.
brother was kidnapped and replaced with Arnold Finnegar. You expect her to just walk around and be like, you know what? It's okay. Thank God I have my brother back. No, Gabby's not the one.
Oh yeah.
Gabby is going to figure out what she needs to do to fix that and
Mm.
to make it okay in her eyes, regardless if everybody else is okay with it. And so, I think just everything about Gabby, everything, especially now with the dynamic of, which obviously everyone knows now with Ari coming into Salem.
Mhm.
Oh my God, that has been my favorite thing that has ever happened since I've been Gabby. So
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Yes, that will be the story beats that we will get to.
Yes.
So Gabby and JJ are starting to feel real comfortable around each other and may
Mhm.
become a couple, and he's going out of his way to protect her from a potential arrest for shooting EJ,
Mhm.
which, you know, we'll not discuss that because you never know what's going to happen in Salem.
Exactly.
Kind of find it hard to believe that Gabby would be the shooter, not because she didn't want to, but she just got out of jail.
Yeah,
So I don't feel like she wants to go
exactly.
back anytime soon. What's that like been working with Casey and like molding this relationship and having him be so protective of Gabby?
Of course. It's actually been so lovely. Casey is so wonderful. I have formed such a beautiful friendship with him, and working together is just really great. It's just so easy and effortless and natural, and we have a really sweet chemistry. And so I think that that's just the lovely thing about JJ coming into Gabby's life when he did, is that he's allowed for Gabby to kind of just let go a little bit and be a little softer and smile a little more. And so I think that she or I don't think. Gabby knows that JJ is a good guy. And so she's appreciating being taken care of and being protected. Now, then comes into question the shooting, which, of course, like I said, Gabby's going to do what Gabby has to do. But then also the conflict of interest is the fact that JJ is a cop. And not only is he a cop, but now I understand why they did this because it's a soap that he questioned Gabby. It should have been Sean, of course. Like, if you really look at it in the conflict of interest world of like in real life, it would have never been JJ.
That would have been definitely thrown out in court. Something would have gone.
Exactly, exactly. But we are in Salem, and it is a soap, and so for the drama and for just all of it, JJ was the one that had to do it. And so I'm really proud of those scenes, by the way. We walked away from that really proud of ourselves and just what we gave with that. And so, and I think that's a testament too to not only our friendship that we had developed, but our relationship that we had built as JJ and Gabby with us, because for me, when they sent that scene or prior to them sending that scene, and I was like, I think JJ's going to tell Gabby that he loves her. Like, I could see this actually like going the next step. So
Yeah.
when they hit it with that scene of like him accusing her and her walking out, I was like, oh no, we were both a little shocked. We're like,
Yeah.
oh no. And then of course I was like, do you think that we can overcome this?
Right.
And now with that said, I can't say about what the future
Of course.
holds, but it definitely put everything into a limbo and changed the dynamic of the relationship. And of course, Gabby cares about JJ and JJ cares about her, vice versa. But also, this situation is a really screwed up situation to even be to. So we're about to go on a journey with that relationship and just where this is going to take us moving
Yeah.
forward. But Casey's wonderful. I love him.
And this coming week, actually, they are arguing about this, and then you get a beautiful surprise walk through the door.
I know. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
What was it like working with with the young lady or the actress who plays Ari? And like, did it your son is still young, so
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. So I have a 3-year-old son, Phoenix, which is funny because the Damaris symbol is the Phoenix.
Mhm.
So that tie-in is really special. And I don't believe in coincidences, but very magical. And so the universe, in a way, was definitely me kind of guiding me in a certain direction. Now, with that said, when I first booked Gabby, and I found out through the deep dive on Wikipedia of the Days of Our Lives Wikipedia, that she had a daughter, that was one of my first questions. I was like, so where's Ari? And they were like, oh, she's with her dad's. And I was like, oh, okay. And so along the way, I did mention at one point how wonderful it would be if Gabby's daughter would come back into town, if Gabby's family would come back into town. And then Javi came, and I was just overjoyed because that was a really beautiful addition to the Hernandez family. Then when I found out that Ari was coming, it was shortly after the new writers took over. I was just overjoyed. I was like, yes, 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 yes. This is what Gabby's missing. Gabby is missing her daughter. Let's bring her daughter into the mix. Now, finding out that it was Marissa, when I met her, I didn't know her prior, but I did meet her on the day of her screen test. Marnie introduced us. And already there was just a connection there to begin with. Just she is such light and so beautiful and so kind, and she's so talented. I'm so excited for you guys to experience her as Ari. But I reached out to her the day before working on set just to kind of welcome her, kind of give her a little insight because she hadn't worked in the soap world and neither had I. And Brandon did that for me. And it was just so amazing. And so I did that for her. And so once she stepped on set, it was really funny because they aged Ari up. So Ari is now turning 18 when she comes into Salem. And I'm actually, funny enough, the one thing I don't know is how old Gabby is. I don't really know how old Gabby is. I've been trying to find out, and everybody's like kind of in her 30s. Now, with that said, I'll be 38 next month. And so I look young, but I'm also Latin, so I think it's my, it's just my, in my blood. And also I
Yeah.
take care of myself and all the things. But with that said, when she first got hired, a lot of the people on set were joking around. They were like, oh, so they hired you as sister, because I mean, we look close in age and I look young. Now, with that said, on a side note, my mom had me when she was 18. So I grew up with a very young mother, and still to this day, we look like sisters. Like no one believes that she is my mother, and she's also young. And so knowing that Gabby had Ari young, and I think that's going to be a little bit of a transition
Mm.
for fans. Is going to be like, yeah, but they look too close in age because I look young. However, the way that we are, as the way that I carry myself, the way that she carries herself,
Mhm.
it works so perfectly because she has this youthfulness about her, and I have this maturity about me because I'm a woman and she's still a young, and she's a young woman. um and so it plays really beautifully. And so having our first scene together was wonderful because not only did it bring a new dynamic to Gabby's life, but I really felt like it felt like everything was right, like there's just that feeling of like, this is what I've kind of been asking for internally for a while since I've been Gabby. And so I'm so happy that the new writers decided to bring, I'm sorry, Ari into the picture. And I really am looking forward to people seeing our dynamic as mother and daughter. I think that they have written us in such a lovely way, that has warmed my heart. And so every time I step on set with her, every time I step on set with the Hernandez family, which you will see, we have a really fun dynamic.
Yeah.
You like think I mean, Galen and I obviously got along since day one. Al and I got along since day one. And then you add Marissa into the mix and you never know how it's going to be. We laugh so much on set that every time we're together, they call it the chaos kitchen, the chaotic
Yeah.
Hernandez kitchen,
Yeah.
because of how much we laugh. But we also get it done. So, there's that. But I'm really looking forward to the dynamic that it will bring to just the Salem world in general.
That's awesome. And of course, she's not even in town 2 seconds, and Gabby goes to check on her, and she's not in her room.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Yes, I
it's
know.
like, did she get
I know. It was
kidnapped?
like, come
Yeah,
on, I'm supposed to be happy over
I know.
here.
You were happy for 11 seconds. That's long
I
enough.
was happy for 11 seconds. That's it. That's it. No, but yeah, and like the drama, just what it all is. And so I'm really looking forward. She's incredibly talented. And like I said, she's just brought such a beautiful dynamic to the family and to the show. And so I'm really excited for everyone to see.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And before we started, you were talking about how your husband made a beautiful sacrifice so you could pursue your career. And
Mhm.
he's actually going to be jumping back in to the
Yeah.
ring. And so, what does that feel like that you're able to now share that together as he books jobs and you're working and that kind of thing? Are you looking forward
Yeah,
to?
I mean, I think it's just a testament to our bond and our relationship and the sacrifices you make when you're with somebody. So I mean, we've been together now a little bit over 10 years. And then this year it will be 8 years being married. And so me booking this and also us having a son has changed everything in the best way, of course, because we have a roof over our head, we have health insurance, I am able to provide for my family, especially for my son, things that I don't have to worry about, and that in itself is everything to me. That's number one. And so that in itself, booking this was not only life changing for my career, but also for my life and for my family. And so when I booked this, I didn't know that something like this existed where you basically get your schedule for the year, I guess. And you get like one week off a month. Well, it just depends on the hiatuses, how they are.
Yeah.
Now, with that said, it's the best schedule I could ever have. But because it's just my husband and I out here, we've had to sacrifice in a sense his career of him stepping away from acting to care for our son because we don't have family here. And so now that our son is 3 years old, Sean is we had a talk about it, and I told him, I was like, I think it's time that you start opening yourself back up to the industry and allow to whatever comes into your life to come into your life. Phoenix is getting a little older, and this is where we're at right now. It won't always be like this. Eventually Phoenix will be older and he'll be like, okay, I'm going to go hang out with my friends.
No.
And then it won't
It
matter. But
happens very quickly, and I'll tell you that right now.
yeah, but like right now, there's just a lot of, and also there are a lot of sacrifices. There's a lot of things that I can't be a part of because I have to put my son to sleep. So, when I'm at work, and when I'm not at work, I go back into stay-at-home mom life, and I'm back to, I mean, I'm always a mom, but like I will get invited to premieres, I will get invited to this, I will get invited to that, and I can't do all those things
Yeah.
because I need to be with my son. And so now this will be a beautiful thing for him to kind of just go back out there, especially because he had such success in his career for
Mhm.
so long. And so I'm excited for him and just
That's
whatever the future
beautiful.
holds.
What a beautiful way to end the interview. Cherie, thank
Yeah.
you so much for all your time.
Oh,
It's
of
been an
course. Thank you for
absolute
having me.
pleasure. Oh, of course. We love you.
Thank you. Oh, I love you guys too, and I always love seeing the articles you guys post about days and all the things. And also, it was so lovely meeting you too as well.
Same.
So thank you so much for having me.
I was
Thank you.
excited to get to do a longer chat with you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is absolutely awesome. Thank you, love.
Amazing. Thank you.